Diyos ang biyaya, umaapaw ang ligaya, nakapalibot ang pagmamahal sa isa't isa. Ganyan ang buhay bahay, kay saya ng buhay bahay. Walang pating ang pagtutulungan, walang upay ang pagbibigayan. Ganyan ang buhay, ganyan sa bahay. Buhay bahay.
Magandang araw po sa lahat ng nakikinig sa Buhay Bahay. Pasko na nga pala nung nakaraan, ano? Pero alam niyo, mahaba ang Pasko eh. Hanggang sa unang araw po ng Enero ay Pasko pa. Pero alam niyo po ngayon, araw na ito ay tinatawag nating araw ng banal na pamilya. Okay, lahat naman tayo nakatira dito sa bahay, mga pamilya, di po ba? Kaya lahat po tayo ay magbabatian. Yan, okay. So kasama po natin ngayon sa ating usapan ay si Jackie at saka si Chit, Monisit. Yan po ang mga magsing-irog dito sa Buhay Bahay. So kung si Ana ay may isang irog na, si Mox, at may anak na nga po sila, kasama po natin ngayon si Chit at si Jackie. So alam na po naman ninyo, itong ating Buhay Bahay ay dahil sa ginagawa ng Alliance for the Family. At siyempre katulong natin ang DZXL 558 Manila. So sa tanghali pong ito ay siyempre babatiin muna kayo ni Jackie at ni Chit. Great na kayong dalawa.
Hello! Magandang hapon, Tito Chit. Nako, it's an honor. Ako po'y nasisiyahan talaga to be with you in this program, ang nanay ng Buhay Bahay. Hello!
Lola ng Buhay Bahay.
At magandang hapon din po sa lahat ng ating mga pagsubaybay. Sa mga nakikinig sa atin ngayon, maligayang Pasko sa inyong lahat. Maayong Pasko sa tanan.
Ngayong hapon sa inyong tanan, ako si Chit Monisit at ako po ay masayang nagbabalik sa Buhay Bahay kasama si Chit at sa ating significant other, si Jackie.
Okay, so
pag-usapan ngayong hapon sapagkat pag-usapan natin ang 5 siglo ng Kristyanismo sa Pilipinas.
Yeah, personally, I'm really interested in this topic talaga and I'm excited to look back, nalakbayin muli yung kasaysayan ng Kristyanismo dito sa ating bansa. Kaya sakto-sakto din na pag-usapan natin yan ngayon sapagkat kakatapos lang din ang ating pagdiriwang ng Pasko.
yan, okay. So, katulad nga po ng nasabi ni Jackie at ni Chit, ang tampok sa hapong ito ay ang 5 siglo ng pagiging Kristiyano sa Pilipinas. At sino po ba naman ang magbabahagi nito? Kundi yung talagang may kaalaman sa mga kaganapan at paghahanda para sa masiglang selebrasyon ng ating 500 pagiging Kristiyano sa Pilipinas. Kaya po sa hapong ito, ang ating pong kasama at panauhin ay si Binibining Carlotta Pasion. Sino ba si Carlotta Pasion? Aba, hindi nyo alam. Una po, kasapi yan ng Kalinangan Youth Foundation. Napakaraming ginagawa po ng Youth Foundation na yan. At hindi lang yan. Kaya po naman siyang ating panauhin sa po'y nagdadalubhasa sa Cultural Heritage Studies sa Universidad ng Santo Tomas. Kaya magandang hapon, Carlotta. Salamat at ikaw ay nakasama namin. Pakibati mo naman ang ating mga taga-subaybay.
Merry Christmas to all, and today in the Feast of the Holy Family, we greet all families, the Filipino families out there, all over the Philippines. Good afternoon also.
Okay.
Salamat.
So, Kit, umpisahan na nyo. Ang tanong natin.
Salamat tita sa pag-unlock na sa aming invitation dito po sa Buhay Bahay. It's an honor din po to be with us, an expert in this field.
I hope you won't call me an expert. I'm just one volunteer, no, to come up with something about the 500 years, which I want to share nga with you and the listeners.
Tita, before we go deep dive dun sa topic, no, I wanna know po, I'm curious lang, how did you get to this field?
Okay.
Interest niyo na ba talaga to noon pa? Or paano kayo napadpad dito?
Yes. Because I work for the Kalinangan Youth Foundation, Incorporated. We run programs for young women all over the country. Basically, our main goal is the holistic formation of these women involved in our programs. No? And these programs may be leadership, outreach, cultural, different, they have to, spiritual included, that's why it's called a holistic program of formation, no, for them. And those involved in our projects are we have high schoolers up to the college level, the girls from all over the country. Most of them, of course, students. So having said that, I thought that, wow, we cannot just take this 500 years now that concerns every single Filipino sitting down, diba? Parang dapat each one may gagawin about this. So, nag-brainstorming kami ng mga ating co-mentors to think about it. So, what is the contribution of Kalinangan Youth Foundation regarding the celebration of the 500 years? So, during the brainstorming process that we had, very informal, somebody suggested, yeah, I think it might be good to consider this as like a pilgrimage ba of the Filipino people, looking at the past and the present and the future. So then, a pilgrim's guide, yung gabay, no, came up, and then I took it on. Okay, a pilgrim's guide would be a good idea because this was all done before the pandemic. So we wanted something ready, like a tourist guide, your usual guides, something like this. I'm going to show it on screen. It's something like this. This is really what we had come up with. It's 16 by 30 inches in dimension. So the idea was, if anybody had this, then perhaps that would be to start off their 500 years celebration. So my involvement was in that. Besides that, as Chit mentioned, I'm doing cultural heritage studies at the University of Santo Tomas. So heritage, our first, what I consider our heritage is our spirituality. So it's really just so related to what I'm doing.
Masaya yan, Tita Carlotta. You're giving me ideas for our next road trip eh.
Not ideas. I'm gonna have you working. Everyone who's listening here now, I think everyone has to have a commitment to the 500s, personal commitment ba, which we also featured we'll talk about it later. This, just don't have this, looking at it or holding it. When you open it, there is a panel that talks about the personal commitment. Nako, you'll be really involved in it. I hope Kit and Jackie and Chit and everybody else.
Yeah.
Tamang-tama sa Feast of the Holy Family na.
Oo. Buong pamilya at buong barkada.
Right.
Ano po ba naging inspirasyon niyo dyan?
Okay. Remember, the CBCP early on in 2019, September, already settled the 500 years logo.
Yeah.
The 500 years theme, which is gifted to give. And then my theme song pa. So we worked around those three ideas. When we came up with we settled, okay, Pilgrim's Guide. That will be easy to handle, sturdy enough, kasi talagang mapupunit-punit yan, pupunta ka sa iba-ibang featured site, no?
Ano naman naman po yung mga elements ng logo? Kaya nakita ko yun, pero hindi ko lang ma-remember yung mga elements niyan. What does it mean?
Well, there are you can it's easy to Google it. Everybody can get it in the internet to understand it more. But definitely it's something to do with the theme gifted to give. What we have received should make us happy, di ba? So first, I'm so happy nga this conversation happened during the Christmas season when we have no reason to be sad, diba? It's if you ask me, how did I greet my friends and family this year? I just typed Emmanuel, God is with us. So that was just my message today. This season, no, it's not even just Merry Christmas. It's Emmanuel, God is with us. So when you have something, you realize you have that gift of the faith. You cannot give it unless you really are happy about it. So that's the main message of the logo also. Gifted, we're gifted, we have to realize it, let's give it back. Let's give it to share it. So yun, I think yun ang kailangan natin ngayon disposition, personal disposition. I ask myself, am I happy as a Christian? Am I happy as a Catholic, living my faith? With this pandemic, was I able to live my faith in spite of it, di ba? Because if I have been able to live my faith, if I feel that I'm gifted, well, now it's the time to share it. Without choosing, I mean, let's just share it. So mine is the Pilgrim's Guide. That should involve many people. Did you, more or less?
I got thank you, tita. Galing din yun sa Gospel of Matthew, yung gifted to give na, diba?
Yes, gifted to give, diba? So, it's also biblical.
Ano naman po yung pini-featured dito sa Pilgrim's Guide?
Pilgrim's Guide, okay. I'll give you
yes.
Yeah, I will try to make you go through it, no? First, there are 3 objectives, no? 3 layunin nung Pilgrim's Guide. Unang-una, that came to our mind was that we have to drum up the awareness of the significance of this 500 years. Because if you don't realize that something is important, something is a treasure, something is significant in your life, in the life of the Filipino people, parang baliwala yan, di ba? So first you have to settle its significance. But when you know already its significance, what do you do now? You have to drum it up. The more you talk about it, the more people catch on. They hop on the train. Sama, like a bandwagon, di ba? That's the first layunin namin. To drum it up by spreading this Pilgrim's Guide, talking about it, distributing it. In fact, since this was ready as early as November 2019, many people already have it. The last one who got 100 copies was a priest from Angono, Rizal. Carlotta, can you send me 100 copies? Within the pandemic yan, this year. So already they're thinking of something. So, buti na lang na nakatulong na people are interested. We've already distributed many copies of this. We have more available. But we're going to have, through this program, make the digital copy available. So you can work, anybody can work around it, can work with it. We're giving you the chance to work on it. So that's the first. The second objective was, so how are you going to do with this now if you want to drum it up? Well, we want Filipinos to retrace the steps of the first missionaries who evangelized the country. So that means we featured in a trivia form something like this one. For example, this photo of Ferdinand Magellan. That's number 1. Because it's all started in 1521, right? As Yoyoy Villame sang it. I cannot sing you the song, but many people know about it. And it's for some, it's the way to retain the date. no? That the song of Yoyoy Villamin. So we featured the second one. The second is the Shrine of the First Mass in Limasawa, Leyte. But all this you can find in the digital copy that we're providing this afternoon. So that's the second, to retrace the steps.
Parang naging controversial din, tita, di ba, na may claim din na butuan yung...
Yes, although the National Historical Institute of the Philippines already had settled that from the records, there was no proof that it was any other place rather than the Limasawa, Leyte. So we're sticking to that. Anyway, what's important is that the first mass happened wherever it was, siguro, no? But of course, heritage people are very strict on the place. Yeah, we respect that. But the idea that the first mass happened on March 31, 1521 is what's significant. That's why Easter of, the CBCP had moved the start of the celebration next year, April 17, for that first Easter Sunday Mass.
Pero that time,
Yes.
the first mass happened, none of the Filipinos were baptized pa. Parang yung
Wala pa. Kasi the guide also tells you about, in another trivia form, who were the first ones baptized, no, in the Philippines. These were Raha Humabon, if you remember your history. So this is like, for me, when you look at this, it will also be a guide for class on religion or social studies. They can even use it in their classrooms, no? Because there's a lot of data that we've gathered information and put it here. What we deemed was more or less more significant, because there are many other things to feature. But we were limited by space, so we chose something more easy to remember. For example, in number 4, it says, the first baptisms in the country happened on April 14, 1521. That's after the first Mass. And who were baptized? Raha Humabon with his consort Hara Humamay, no? Queen Juana, the Christian name, and 800 of their subjects in Cebu. So Cebu is significant. Now, you might say, the first daughter of the church in the Philippines, Cebu.
Close to our hearts.
Yes.
It's like a firstborn, no? And that title is so beautiful to think, no? Cebu is the firstborn. So they took on the Christian names Carlos and Juana. So I wanted to mention the third, diba? The third goal, because when you know these objectives, then it puts you in context. So the first is to drum up the significance of the event, making people aware. Second is by retracing the steps of the first early missionaries, the early missionaries in our country. And then, when you've done that, what do you want? It's to provide physically a pilgrim's guide. That's why we came up with this. Well, something that's tangible, no, that you can hold on to for a year to guide you. In fact, you can be very creative in this time of the pandemic, diba? The creativity juices just came out of the Filipinos, so they can come up with anything to suit their barkada, to suit their families. So that one. So when I've already mentioned to you, the 3 objectives, do you want me to go through with you now what it features?
Then, tita, I wanna know the story. I wanna look back eh.
Okay. So, marami to ha. Handa na po ba tayong lahat? It features 30 milestones. We call them milestones. For example, what is the oldest Christian monument? Kit, do you know?
The cross of Magellan!
Yes.
Cebu yun.
Which arrived April 21, 1521. No? So it's the oldest Christian monument. Now in Cagayan, there is, across the Lalo Cathedral, there is a 400-year-old, hindi 500, 400-year-old church that was placed there, installed by the missionaries, by the Dominicans. And it's still there, by the roadside, across just a few steps from the river. That's why kanina I was mentioning to you. So, 30 milestones. And behind, if these were the milestones, no, these were the milestones, behind them, the corresponding block features a photo of the milestone and a suggested places also where to go to celebrate. So let me give you an example.
Yes, let's pretend we're on this road trip.
Yes.
Okay, the oldest church music in the Philippines.
Right.
No, I have not thought of that. I didn't know until we discovered that the San Agustin Cantoral has been dated by the historian Santiago Pilar to around about 1659 to 1697, attributed to an Indio artist named Marcelo Banal, which is also significant, no? The Holy Marcelo Banal, who joined the Order of the Saint of the Agustinians later on. So he was then named Marcelo de San Agustin. So behind this, it says here, no, number 27. I hope you see it. Is it more or less there? The oldest. Can you read it? So behind number 27, where can I find that, diba? It says here, you can visit these links to find out more about this cantoral, this oldest church music that was created by the Agustinian Marcelo de San Agustin. There is a link given. You will also find this in the Journal of UST Unitas, giving you the date, everything, no? So, that is one example. Do you want more?
Yes.
More example of, for example,
Chronologically na lang kita.
so yan. The first book printed in the Philippines is not related to mathematics, to statistics, to science, but it's the Doctrina Christiana, diba? But who was the one who printed it? An Indio, Tomas Pinpin, Chinese, no? Tomas Pinpin. He was the first Filipino printer who also penned an interesting book. It said, the title of the book is Librong Pag-aaralan ng mga Tagalog ng Wikang Kastila. So he's an author. That was written in 1610 in the Tagalog orthography. No? These words are attributed to him. Let us therefore, he said, study, my countrymen, for although the art of learning is somewhat difficult, yet if we are persevering, we shall soon improve our knowledge. As early as that, Tomas Pinpin already admonished us, halika na, mag-aral naman tayo. Mga kababayan, di ba? It's interesting to know that, wow, meron akong minuno, nag-udyot sa akin na, halika, mag-aral tayo. And then behind it, you will see, where was it printed? Okay. Visit the Abukay Church Parish of St. Dominic de Guzman, which was established in 1558 in Bataan, and housed the first printing press in the country, where the first book was printed by Tomas Pinpin. So there's a relation, no? Kasi nga, itong mga Dominicans, they were the ones who evangelized Bataan. Where is now the first copy of the Doctrina Christiana? We only have in UST replica. We don't have the original. So, what we also suggested related to that is, since nandun na rin kayo sa Bataan, so we suggested here, visit the oldest churches in Bataan. What are these? The Most Holy Rosary in Orani, established in 1714. Our Lady of the Pillar in Morong, 1607. St. Michael the Archangel in Orion, 1667. And St. Peter Verona in Hermosa, established 1717. So these are plus, no, the added plus, no, that what you can do while you're there. You want to make usi-usi, no, about the first printing press, the history. While you're there, go and visit the old churches of Bataan.
Oh, that's very
Makes it more meaningful, di ba?
yes. Very refreshing to hear kasi thinking about yung first book that was printed on the printing press, 1610. It's barely 100 years since the Spaniards came over.
Yes. So,
It means na they brought over so much rich culture, technology, and palagi nating naririnig na yung mga Spaniards wala lang, abuso lang yung mga ginagawa nila sa atin for 300 years. I mean, that's true. Or 300 years, this kind of culture that has to be heard ng
well,
people, no?
perhaps that is our mission. We have to change that. No, we have to change that, and we can do that if we relive what the first missionaries did to our country. Where would we be now without Christianity in our country? Where would Asia be? Because we are the vanguard of the faith in Asia. And with our many kababayans working abroad, they have undoubtedly Christianized even Europe. Families where they continue to work.
Right.
Diba? So, that's our heritage. We are people na, sige, tayo talaga yung inatasan. Alika, let's spread the faith. And we're the only Catholic country in Asia. Diba? And to think, we're so sabog-sabog, diba? We're an archipelago. Hindi nga tayo magkasundo-sundo pag minsan, diba? Even before, there's so many different datus. Kaya it was easier to colonize us kasi wala namang wala silang one theme. Walang isang one datu, di ba? We're so sabog, but I suppose that's our nature also. As a Filipino, we're open. With this face of ours, a saint had said that, with this face of ours, we are welcome everywhere. True enough. We're so welcome everywhere. And, last night, I had to give a lift to a Salesian priest who went to visit his family in Pampanga. Di ba nag-lockdown yung Pampanga? 24 to 27, strict lockdown. And everybody listened. The streets were deserted, especially on Christmas Day. Why? Because of the fear of the new strain of the virus in the UK. So we don't want to spike. That's what the governor said. So this was one. Anyway, I was talking to him. And, sorry, I forgot the thought that I was going to, but it was that, his favorite place in Europe, no? His Switzerland. Bakit po? At saka saan siya tumira doon, di ba? As at Switzerland, I live with Filipino families who are very well respected. Most of them are in the allied medical professions in Switzerland, where they can practice their profession. Catholics.
Wow.
In a pagan country.
Right. So this family, husband and wife, are both Filipinos.
Yes. What he was relating to me. Yeah. So in Italy, the same. So many Filipinos. So it's our nature to evangelize. Yun ang minana natin, di ba?
Right.
So am I making sense? Do you want to know more? You want to know more about the other parts, no? So that's on the part of, so these are suggestions of pilgrimages, visits of sites, not only sites, because during Holy Week, for example, you can go to the oldest cenaculo. You know where it is held yearly, up to now, in Manila? Malibay, in Pasay. Malibay. It was passed on from generation to generation, the same family. Received it from their ninunos, the cenaculo ng Malibay. Famous yan. Famous that we don't know about it, no? So, it makes us more, it's exciting, di ba? That, wow, ang dami palang madidiscover in terms of festivals, no? So, that one. And then, that's on the sites, no? The people, do you know the first bishop ordained in the Philippines? Any clue? I didn't have a clue until I we had to come up with this, no? It was Bishop George Berlin E. Imperial, who died in Rome, and whose body, his process of canonization is underway, but that they're still looking for the remains of his remains.
Is he an Augustinian, tita, or Dominican?
No, he's a diocesan priest. Secular. Bishop Jorge Barlini Imperial. That's him.
He's a Bicolano.
Yes, Bicolano. So they're looking for the remains. So we hope, no, that they find it so that his process of canonization will continue. So yeah. So then now I want to, there's a part here that's dedicated. Do you remember that in 2014, the Pope talking about a certain passage in the Gospel that he related what our Lord asked Peter and the apostles, who do people say I am? Diba?
Mhm.
Remember that?
Right.
You are John the Baptist, no? You are Elijah, come alive, no? And then, what was the question of our Lord, the last question?
And how about you? What do you think?
Yes, how about you? Who do you think I am? Okay? Who is Christ for me? Di ba? Who is Christ for me? Yun ang palaging tinatanong namin, sino ba si Kristo para sa akin? And the Pope returned the question. We reversed it. Sabi niya, don't only ask that. Huwag mong tatanungin lang, sino si Kristo para sa iyo. Tanungin mo, sino ka para kay Kristo. So that would make people really stop muna, oo nga naman, sino ako para kay Kristo. Kaya, ginawan po namin yan ng panel. Tingnan ko kung makikita ninyo, di ba? Nababasa nyo ba?
Hindi, tita, eh. Kasi lang. Hindi.
What am I Catholic?
No. I'm so sorry. It's a little, because it's in yellow and white.
Oo
no?
nga, white, yellow and white.
The panel asks, who am I for Christ?
Ayun.
Sino ako para kay Kristo ngayong 500-year celebration? So, we are presenting here 4 challenges for every Filipino to fulfill. Uy, may nagawa na ako for the year. Isa na lang na pinaplano ka pa. So ano yung mga 4 na challenges nito that you can do at your own pace within the year? No? The first is a personal project for the poor. And then, you have to write the date there. Date accomplished. So, ano yung personal project ko for the poor? Kasi the Pope says, go to the peripheries, the marginalized. Don't think of going to Africa. Where you are. Ulysses happened just before Christmas. There were so many people who mobilized themselves, their families, to help Cagayan. Naga in Bicol before Cagayan, di ba? Also, it also happened. They were also nasalanta din sila ng bagyo. Without telling them, Katanduanes, no? They really suffer a lot. Our people, our kababayans there. So, you, on your own, come up with your own project for the poor. You can do it with your community. You can do it with your own close family members. You can do it with your barkada. You can do it with your BFFs. You might not be able to travel, but there are always places where, links where you can channel your help. But do it personally. So this is the first challenge. The second challenge, spread the faith. Teach catechism in a preferred community or group of people. Remember, this was conceptualized before the pandemic. So many opportunities to do this, no? Even here, just in Manila. But, online catechism classes are hit in many of our programs, study centers that we have here, running programs. In fact, they have evolved into educational hubs. They ask their friends, let's donate gadgets. kahit second hand, let's donate load. Kesyo, Globe yan, Smart yan, basta libreng load sa kanila para sa mga estudyante tinuturuan nilang katekismo para makapag join ng mga classes. So the third is a spiritual retreat. You can choose, no? So there's so many spiritual, even online, 3-day retreats. If you want the Dominicans, the Jesuit type of retreat, you can choose, no? And then the last is Marian pilgrimages offered for the Pope and the Church. Ito yung pinaplano ko pa. I want to do this with my family and my friends. Pagka-online din to. And we're coming up with something na sana maraming makasali sa amin. So that one, I think that's the gist, no, of what you will find. It's 500 days for the 500 years.
Mhm.
Is there anything else that...
Like, okay, people can't travel. So, how will this work kaya? So, you have
Okay. Good question.
okay, the last person who had made an order for 100 pieces. Like, for example, how is it so far going with them? Ano nga yung ginagawa nila? Like, examples.
They are still waiting for the chance to go out. What they've been doing is to go to the sites suggested. Do it on your own, you can, no? But there's a challenge here that I want to pose for sa mga nakikinig sa atin ngayon. Young people, especially who are very techy, young people who are very much into the virtual experiences, no, even traveling virtually. So we want to put this out to them. To come up with your team, to come up with your virtual tour for your community, if you want. Kunyari, if you're from Cagayan, you can come up with a visit to the old churches of Cagayan along the Cagayan River. Start with Isabela in Cagayan. Start with Tumawini Church, which is also a national treasure, no? It has a marker, Tumawini Church. It has the only cylindrical bell tower made of bricks. So I suggest that, and then you go up to Kamalanyugan in the north, and that's 7 churches na yon, and then finish it off with a visit to the Our Lady of Piat. No,
All recommendations, Tita, it's in the guide, no?
Yeah, yes. So all this you can share. I don't know how you guys from there can share it to our listeners. They can get in touch with us. My email is there. I can also give you my number. If you want to come up with your own virtual tour, let's not waste this. We're running out of time before April 2021 when we start the 500, the 1-year celebration. Come up with your own program for your community. Kung taga-Bataan kayo, wow, the old church is there. Kung taga Cebu, ang daming mga monuments, very close to our hearts as Christians. In Pampanga also. So there are many possibilities. They are infinite possibles that you can do if you want to share, if you want to do something. We're just providing you with the digital copy. You may go out, you may stretch it further, but you can even just retain your virtual tours, base it on that digital copy of the Pilgrim's Guide for the 500 days for the 500 years of Christianity.
So, Tita, who are interested to do the pilgrimage, paano po sila makakuha ng kopya niyan?
The hard copies, you mean?
Copies or the virtual copy?
The virtual copy, do you have any suggestion? We can
post it din sa Alfie page.
Yes, please. Yes.
Wala pang dedicated website for that Pilgrim's Guide, no?
Well, we started a 500 page. We can post it there also.
Mhm.
No, you can give them my email so that I can also email it directly to their drive because it's quite heavy.
Right.
No? So, para they can use it as soon as they can
Kasi inisip ko,
utilize it.
sa ngayon, it's a very large printout, no?
Yeah,
Even if it's in PDF form,
yes.
malaki siya na file. So siguro pwede natin siya i-convert into something easier to access.
Paano?
Yes.
Ayan, Carlotta, may kausap ka na.
I love these people. Galing, yeah. I hope our listeners, there are listeners out there na nanawagan po kami. Join us you can form your own barkada teams to come up with virtual tours. So now, as you suggested, these are still available. We are giving them out for free. It's just a minimum of 50 pesos per copy to cover the printing expenses. Part of the printing expenses actually because we were able to get some donations to print them out before in 2019. So we can send them out to you like the priest of Angono did in San Clemente. We just send them through Grab. But the digital copy, I'm sure our techie brothers and sisters know better. They can cut it up. They can do anything with it. But we're giving you that leeway. We are go on. Do make it useful.
Where can we get po the printed copy?
From us. You can get them from me directly. We have them on stock.
Saan po?
Here in Quezon City.
May office po kayo?
Yes. No, I'm just at home. I can just give them to you from home. From Calfee. We're just giving them out. Yeah.
It would be good na like for example, the word gets around, especially to really the locals talaga, like locals in Mindanao or locals in Iloilo or Cebu, and then they come up with their own like for example itinerary.
Yes. Yeah. I am so sorry, but most of the ones featured here kasi the pilgrimage routes are those I'm familiar with in Luzon. But of course, in Mindanao, in the Visayas, so much more. So this is going to be, it's an evolving pilgrim's guide. And they can even, if somebody can come up with a Facebook account on this, and we are willing to just join them, share everything there, we'll be very happy.
Right.
So in the meantime, those who have it, you can start using it. And those who don't have it, you can get your copies from us. And then also the digital copy will be available.
Carlotta, can you announce your email so that people are interested can get to you?
Yes. So that's carlotta.pasion@gmail.com. Carlotta, that's double P. CARLOTTA Pasion, PASION
At
gmail.com. Do you want me to give you my number also? So it might be easier for them, for those who are interested. So I'll just tell now, it's 0927 2569 270. So I'll say it again, 0927 2569 270.
All right.
That's
Carlotta,
Carlotta.
excuse me, ano yung website na sinasabi mo? Na 500 or something?
Yeah, there's a 500 page. Sorry, we were not able to follow through, because of what happened. So, but there's so many 500 pages pala.
Your
Many
website?
people. I'm happy, that they're using the 500. So it's difficult to find us. Perhaps one of our listeners can come up with something original, and then we're we can just tie up with you, no, with this, in this. But yes, can you please upload it in alfie.org website, no, the digital copy, para at least those who know Alfie can already get hold of it.
Okay. So yung mga may nais po mag-volunteer,
Yes! Oo.
bakit hinahanap, or paano ba? Ano ba yung mga help na needed niyo po? And how
You know, as I told you, what we want is that yung mga this very enterprising and creative people who can help come up with a virtual. In fact, the big challenge is those who are very maalam can do an app, 500 years app, using the same. Di ba merong mga expert on this, mga engineering students, IT professionals and experts like Jackie. So you can come up with something, no?
Jackie, may commission na ako sa'yo, ah.
Will it be difficult to come up with an app if you have already the... Simple lang na magagamit nila, and we want it offline, that it can be used even offline.
Yeah, we did similar thing before in one of my projects. It's a travel app. So parang ganun din siya na may mga places you can choose, and then parang virtual tour nga. Yun lang, may mga specific technologies and mga people you need to hire for those. Pero,
Yeah. Sana among our listeners, merong maging interested, no, to do something for the 500, for our people, for our Lord, no, in this 500 years. As I said, we're gifted to give. This will be our first gift. If we share it with other people.
ano
Yes.
po, actually,
Oh, did I tell you? I wanted to tell you something, no? I had friends in Rome
Hello? Yeah.
who had a chance to
Yeah.
join an audience with the Pope.
mhm.
No, that was when they opened the Vatican, so they were there.
Nandito na
I
lang
gave
po.
her a copy of this.
Tatawagan ko na lang po
Friend of
uli
mine.
kayo kasi may kausap lang po ako. Babalikan ko po kayo. Total, andito naman yung number niyo sa akin. Salamat po.
So this friend of mine brought it with her in that audience with the Pope. Even fell nga on the floor, and then the bodyguard of the Pope got it back. Anyway, this friend of mine told the Pope, Holy Father, in the Philippines, we're going to celebrate the 500 years of Christianity. And then the Pope just nod. And Holy Father, you know, you have to get, the Pope teases you eh. Kunyari, tatalikod siya, and then you call him back again, and then he turns around. You know what they heard him say? Oh, yeah, yes. He spoke in Spanish, but it was, when they translated it, it was something, yeah, I'm gonna write to them, to the Filipinos, for this anniversary. So we can expect that. I think we're the first ones who know that he's gonna write to us. Although perhaps the bishops, Cardinal Tagle knows about it now, but he said it in public. He was telling them, these young people there in their audience, yeah, I'm gonna write to them about it. So he has us in mind, the 500 years. So the more initiatives, the better. Let's drum it up. Babalikan talaga natin yon. Let's drum up the awareness of the significance of the 500 years.
Right.
Tita Chit, we cannot hear you.
The Chit, naka-mute po kayo. So, tita, bakit po sa tingin niyo mahalagang malaman ng mga Pilipino yung kasaysayan ng Kristyanismo dito sa ating bansa? Why do you think it's important?
Because if we do not know our past, we will only face difficulties. If we have not embraced our past, we will see the future as difficult. Having said that one, I got from the recent apostolic letter of the Pope, no, Patris Corde, the heart of a father, in the year of St. Joseph, because we're in the year of St. Joseph that started December 8th. So, St. Joseph, the Pope wrote this on the anniversary of the 150 years of St. Joseph as patron of the Universal Church. And he wrote it there. A people who cannot embrace their past will only face the difficulties. And we don't want that. We have to know, before we can even embrace our past, we have to know it in order to appreciate it. So our initiative from Calfee is just a small initiative. Katiting lang to. Sana there's more, no? In fact, our first target with this 500 years journey are the girls who are involved in our programs in Calfee and their families and friends. Siyempre, konti lang yon, di ba? We're in Davao, we have projects in Davao, in Bacolod, in Iloilo, in Cebu, in Pampanga, in Baguio, here in Manila. We're more concentrated here in the universities in Manila. So we're more in touch with the young people here in Manila. So that's just a small of the 100 million Filipinos. So there has to be more initiatives along this line. And I think there are. It's just that we just have to look for them. And we have to hear. Sana you can bring in more in this program, Tita Chit. More who can talk about the 500 years. It could even run as a theme every 15 minutes or every session, every program, 15 minutes of plugging in the 500 years initiatives. Diba?
Yes, you'll do.
Yeah.
It's very exciting, Carlotta.
So, tayo po ay hindi pwedeng magtagal at si Binibining Pasion ay meron pang ibang gagawin.
Kayo din po.
Di ba? Hindi. So, nagpapasalamat kami, Carlotta, na ikaw ay nagkaroon ng panahon. Ganun pa mang ito'y isang taong ko nang talagang binubuno na ikaw ay magiging panauhin namin dito.
So it's just right. The timing is right. Kasi nga because of the pandemic, na ano siya, and the timing is just right as we start the year of St. Joseph on the Feast of the Holy Family, Christmas season, and April 2021 ang start natin ng 500 years. At least it will be fresh in the minds of our kababayans. Kabalens in Pampango.
Kabalen. Okay. So, kami nagpapasalamat, Carlotta, na ikaw ay nakasama namin. Of course, kay Kit at kay Jackie, sana naman ay hindi ito lamang ang pagkakataon na kayo mag-asawa ay kasama namin at mas marami pang pagkakataon. Ganun pa man, kami ay nagpapasalamat lalo na sa RNN, sa pamunuan ng RMN, sa kanilang pagbibigay ng panahon na kami ay makapaghimpapawid nitong aming programang Buhay Bahay. At sa mga katulong namin sa pag-online broadcast, no? Nitong Buhay Bahay, ito ay hindi normal para sa akin, lalo pa dahil noon sanay akong nagbabiyahe pamula sa Alabang hanggang sa EDSA para ako'y makapagprograma. Pero ngayon, nandito ako sa Bicol, pero lahat tayo ay nagkakarinigan, di ba?
Yes.
Tayo ay nandiyan sa Metro Manila, ako naman ay nandito sa Bicol. So, maraming salamat sa inyong pakikinig dito sa aming programang Buhay Bahay na tuwing ikalawa at ikaapat na linggo ng buwan ay inyong mapapakinggan 1:00 hanggang 2:00 dito sa istasyon ng 558 Manila, Radyo Trabaho. Maraming salamat at mabuhay.
At ako naman
Buhay Bahay sa DZXL 558.
Are we close na? O, Kuya? Okay na, Kuya?
Kita and Jackie, Tita Chit.
Hello!
So I hope we can work on something, no?
Yes.
Yes. Let's just wait. I hope people
Enough
will
na
get
ba
in
tayo?
touch
Excuse me.
with us.
Kit, enough na ba tayo ng DZXL?
Hindi ko rin po may nag-sound na eh.
No, you have to see how you can tweak, no, that this pilgrim's guide to make it useful. Kasi we're limited with the movement. The initial idea was that it was targeted to go out, for people to go out. So now we really have to come up with a virtual tour possibilities. It doesn't have to be an entire, no, it could be just portions of it. I have to find time also myself because I was so busy during the semester to work on my deliverables. So, but let's see. But really, we need a lot of help. We need people to put in their expertise. Yun lang, Tito Chit.
Okay, maraming salamat ulit.
Thank you, Thank you, and have a blessed Christmas to all of you.
Sa susunod, maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat.
Merry Christmas.
you.
Okay, Merry Christmas. Bye-bye.